You are live. Let's see if I get, oh yeah, I got a notification. There it is. Okay, and I'm going to do a QRT, and I'm going to go here. Okay, post. All right.
All right.
A lot of activity on the last one.
Oh, wait. I don't want to do that. 8. I'll do that. Okay.
See when done.
I should go do this on Facebook, too.
Oh, yeah.
It was weird. Last time it said nobody was watching us on Facebook, or the StreamYard didn't report numbers.
Yeah?
On Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
There
were comments coming in.
Oh, there were?
Yeah.
Well, we can't see that.
We did see it, but I don't know why it came up. Like I saw people commenting, and I went back later and was replying to them. They clearly were watching it live.
But
yeah,
that's interesting.
The number didn't show up; it showed up as a 0. So I don't know if there's some weird way that Facebook is linking, or you know what I mean.
Weird.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. That's interesting.
Yep.
All right, because I see somebody there. Yeah, because I don't think we didn't see their comments either. So if you're
right.
Oh, okay. That's the comment you made on Facebook right there?
Yes.
Okay. If you're
and it's showing it's not. Let's see. Does it show that anybody's watching it? I am watching it on Facebook. Does it show that now?
Yeah. I see it. I see one.
I don't.
I do.
What?
Facebook like. And I see I see a like.
Yeah.
I see nothing. All I see, Facebook shows nothing.
It doesn't show. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All it shows on X. Nothing on YouTube yet and everything. So, all right. So now, brain expansion group. Sure, why not? I'm going to post in the group.
Share to your story. Sure.
Great. We're sharing.
Do all the things.
Awesome. Do all the things. I shared on LinkedIn.
Okay, cool.
You got it on Facebook. Okay. Terrific. All right. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Okay. Great. I posted a Kia truck question this morning. It's going crazy on X.
Oh, that's good.
Trucks are very polarizing. I don't know why.
Really? They're trucks.
No, Dave.
Okay,
they're way more than that.
Okay.
We can do a whole episode. It's like a personality thing that 9, 10, 11, 12. I posted this, 4 hours ago. It's got 100,000 views on it about buying this new truck, this Kia Tasman or something like that. And there's the comments are, I got called a goateed boomer in the comments when I said I drive a Dodge Ram truck. They say, well, that makes sense, you goateed boomer, because my profile pic has not a goatee.
Yeah, of
actually.
course.
It's called the Van Dyke. It's called the Van Dyke, young man. So get used to learn that.
Yeah, learn that. Right.
Before you try to ridicule me. So, but anyway, great. So today we are talking.
What's the problem with owning a truck?
No, it's brand.
Oh, wow.
Very brand definitive, and it's demographics like Fords or Chevys or Toyotas, and never the twain shall meet. They can't handle it. There's the comments are brutal.
So this is the comments, if I'm understanding correctly, and I could be wrong, but the comments are not coming from non-truck owners. They are coming from other truck owners that own a different brand than you do?
Well, I don't own one of these. I just asked, there's a Kia.
No, I understand. Yeah. But the comments are coming from the group of people that are truck owners and have
mostly
fervent
and then there's
brand
a lot
loyalty.
Of just people are like, oh, this thing looks ridiculous, or
sure,
I'd never buy a Kia or whatever. I don't know anything about Kia. I just thought the truck looked kind of cool, so I just asked a question. And I did not post, hey, I think this is great. I said, who's pre-ordering one of these new trucks? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And it's funny. It's polarizing. And as we know, the X algorithm
loves the polarization.
All algorithms on social media love polarization.
With one exception.
Which one?
TikTok.
They don't like that, huh? They like
TikTok prioritizes joy. It is the best algorithm out there because they will deliver you. You will spend hours.
Yeah,
they figured it out, right? They like you because Facebook for sure, and then Twitter/X kind of followed along. But Facebook was the first, I think, that figured out. Okay, find the polarizing stuff, get people fighting with each other, and we're good to go.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But
sorry. Yeah.
The TikTok folks figured out that you can also get people to spend hours and hours if you just give them content that they like. Love.
So as long as we get the Chinese Communist Party out of their business, we should be okay.
That's right. Yeah.
That's another show. Anyway, so today, folks, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about, we got a couple of good intro topics. We're going to talk about hiring global talent and this new topic that I know nothing about, the power of presumed failure.
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready, Dave, and we're going to record two episodes if you're just joining us.
That's correct. I need to test the ads, so let me know. I'm doing something a little different today, so please let me know if you hear this. All right, folks, hiring the...
I hear it.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
It sounded great.
Great.
Yep. Who do we have? Who's sponsoring today?
LinkedIn Jobs.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
LinkedIn Jobs. I'm going to put that in the comments here. Oh, where's it at? All right. Let me see. Oh, wait.
Actually, you know what? I want to make... I have no doubt that I'm getting the audio from that because I'm hearing it, but I'm going to make sure. All right, folks. I can see it on the meters.
Good.
Okay.
Jobs.
I'm ready to rock when you're ready to rock.
I'm ready for your support.
Okay.
All right. I'm mentioning LinkedIn Jobs in the...
Here we go.
Great.
Business Brain, episode 549 for Casual Wednesday, May 15th, International Family Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and indeed, welcome to Business Brain. We're the show where we take a few ideas, we crunch them together, we dissect them together so that we can use them together to tune our business brains together each and every week. Our sponsor for this episode is LinkedIn Jobs, where you can go to linkedin.com/businessbrain and post your first job for free. I've used it. I love it. We will talk about it a little bit more later. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And still out here in Northern California, I'm Shannon Jean. Great to have a super duper family day a couple days after Mother's Day. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. International Family Day. Yeah,
that's
sure.
That's fantastic.
I like it.
I do too. That's great to have LinkedIn sponsoring us again. They're back a couple times.
Yeah. Yes, it's been a little while, but it's good to have them back.
We had some great comments up there in the last Friday's episode. We talked about how to get sponsors for your podcast if you're in the podcast business. That was great. I had a bunch of people reach out, ask some questions, so make sure you listen to that episode. But today...
I will put a link in the show notes for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. I want to talk, before we get into our main topic, which we're going to talk about global talent, I want to talk about this, what I'm calling snowball decision-making. And let me give you a description. I'm curious on your take on it. So I have a coaching client that I'm working with, great guy, run into some issues with a few different government agencies that he's kind of behind on some payments and different things, and trying to figure out the best way to move forward, to get caught up and to call and reach out and get these things situated. And my take on it is to start with the smallest one first, because it gets you some experience. It gets you flexing your muscles of calling and trying to talk your way through it and getting your story right, even though you know your story, but you might be nervous.
Yeah, your delivery of your story, right?
Your delivery. I love it. Yeah. What's going on? Why I miss these payments? I want to do the right thing. I need to make them up, and I'm ready to work out like a payment plan. If you act in good faith, in my experience, every government agency, federal or state, if you owe them money, they will work out a system to get your money. They want your money. And if you don't have it all at once, they will work with you to pay them over time. Yes, you will pay interest. You might pay some penalties, but these people would rather have your money than have, some more problems for you, which turns into more problems for them. Yeah. So I suggested, I just made that because his question to me was like, who do I call first? And I said, well, pick the smallest number that you're the least intimidated by and call. And I guess that's kind of the thing, talking through this now, that I guess where I got this snowball thing is that Dave Ramsey, he does the same thing with debt. He calls it the debt snowball. Yep. Start with your smallest debt and pay it off. I'm just curious if you thought that using it on the other side from a business perspective, if you think that's, a good system.
Well, yes, I do, except when it comes to government agencies.
Okay. How come?
Every bit of advice I've ever gotten is they will use what you say against you. What you have said is correct.
Okay.
Right? You are absolutely right that if you approach them the right way anyway, and tell them, I know I owe you money. I can't pay it all at once, or I want to pay, whatever it is. Like everything you said is right. I would work with my accountant to do that though.
Yeah. I made that suggestion to this.
I would pay an accountant to do it because the IRS treats you differently when you have an accountant, and they will, if you don't have your delivery, like you said, your story is your story. But if you don't have your delivery perfect and you don't have experience delivering those stories to the IRS, everything I have heard says to get an accountant, a certified, like a CPA.
I like that advice. Yeah.
Yep. To do that.
Maybe you can listen in on the call or something, but I do like that. Yeah, absolutely. I like the idea of having a representative call for you. Yes. Because your point is dead on. If you say the wrong thing, and you don't want to say the wrong thing, they're going to look into you. If you say all I can afford is to pay $2,500 a month, they're going to find out if that's all you can afford.
That's correct. That's
so
right.
You want to be careful how you represented it. I do like the idea. I still like the idea of starting with the smallest amount.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, to get the process going. Yeah. But I do recommend having your accountant, maybe an attorney or somebody, reach out on your behalf. If you've dealt with this before, share your tips, feedback at businessbrain.show so we can share with everybody here these things. I will give you one little more bit of advice. If you do make the call and you get kind of a nasty person on the line, just hang up and call back.
All right, folks. Hiring the right team is like finding the last puzzle piece for your business. It just clicks. And guess where I found our social media wizard, Sadie? That's right, on our sponsor, LinkedIn Jobs. She's been with us for over 3 years, turning posts into gold and tweets into treasures and helping us to promote and grow the show. Now, you might think LinkedIn is just another job board, but let me tell you, it's the secret clubhouse where the best talents hang out. It's not just about who's looking. It's about who's perfect for your team, even those not actively hunting for a job. Over 70% of LinkedIn users aren't scouring other job sites. So if you're not searching there, you're basically playing hide and seek with a blindfold on. And the magic doesn't stop there. Did you know 86% of small businesses snag a qualified candidate within 24 hours on LinkedIn? That's faster than I can find my car keys most of the time. LinkedIn knows you're juggling a million tasks, so they've made it super easy. They even help craft your job description. It's like having your very own HR assistant who's also a mind reader. That's pretty cool. So if you're looking to grow your team with top-tier talent and maybe find your own Sadie who will skyrocket your social media game, head over to LinkedIn Jobs. Join the 2.5 million small businesses who trust LinkedIn to find not just any professional, but the right one. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/businessbrain. That's linkedin.com/businessbrain to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply, and our thanks to LinkedIn Jobs for sponsoring this episode. All right. You are doing a little bit of hiring, Shannon, or you posted on X at least about something. Yeah, talk about it.
So, I would love to talk about this. So, this term global talent is really popular online, at least up on X, hiring, assistants and everything in other countries.
Yep.
Not only do I think initially it was all about saving money, but I think now that's certainly part of it, but it's gone beyond that too, as far as getting qualified applicants to help you out. Yeah. And so I'm hiring a person to help me, like a content manager, if you will, not to create content for me, but to help manage I don't have a problem making the content. I have a problem distributing the content.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, the follow through. So I need help, someone that's organized, someone that's familiar with, social. I'd like to have all the content I create on X, I'd like to have it on LinkedIn as well. But I'm just not super motivated to go put it up there every time. I start and then I stop and I start.
Yeah.
And then I
totally get that.
Right?
Yes.
Yep. And, X gives me instant gratification. So it motivates me to give feedback and I make great connections there, where LinkedIn's a little more, takes a little bit more time to get feedback, but it's certainly valuable.
It's a longer response curve.
Longer response time. Yeah. And at the same time, I've got a significant amount of people that have subscribed to my newsletter. And the only problem is I have no newsletter. So I need to, grow that. So anyway, I'm trying to hire this person, did a little bit of research. I've hired, they used to call it offshore talent or virtual assistant, which I think, I
don't like that term.
Yeah.
I presume these people I'm hiring, regardless of where they're located, are real people. They're not virtual people. They're just remote.
You got it.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done that before, but now, there's a number of agencies out there that will, and I guess they've been there for a long time, but I think there's been a bloom of new ones that'll kind of hold your hand, walk you through it, represent how it's going to work. And so I picked this one company called Pavago, and we'll put a link in the show notes. And it was pretty cool. So I walk you through how it worked. They kind of gave me a rundown. It's Pavago, Pavago.co is the thing. And they do an interview with you. What do you want? What do you need? What's your business? What do you hope to achieve? How do you define success? And then they go out and find, people, and they interview them. And then what I really liked is I got to watch the interview after. They set it up, had their rep going through the interview, talking to these folks. And then after that, I could pick them out, go through, hey, this is who I want to talk to. This is who I don't. So I picked a couple, did my own interviews. And this is where it got a little tricky, because I had two prospects. One was very experienced, had done this kind of thing before, liked to work autonomously, which is great. All those things that are important.
Yep.
But the second prospect didn't quite have all the experience exactly related to what I'm doing, but seemed a lot more organized. And I think that my gut instinct was that's what I probably need more help with. And so I posted up on X. I said, hey, here's the breakdown, just like I described. Who should I hire? And 99% of the people came up and said, hire prospect number one, because she's got the experience.
I want to add one of the things, because I commented on this post. Yeah. And one of the things that in your post you said about prospect number two was that they self-identified as a workaholic.
Yes.
And to me, that was the big red flag, especially with a, remote assistant, whatever, largely because I've found that many of these people wind up picking up many jobs.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
And that can be...
That would be what you would... Of course you would want many jobs, right? Wouldn't that be...
Right.
Shouldn't I just assume that that's what they're doing?
Well, it depends. Are you hiring them by the hour? Are you hiring them full time?
I'm going to pay them a salary, and I'm going to have KPIs. Then they meet certain benchmarks. They can get a bonus.
Yep.
And I get it. And maybe I should have added some nuance when that came up when I said how I'm really focused on outputs. Right. That's we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't. If they're able to get all the stuff we want done in less time, that's okay. So I think I was mentioning it in some kind of about working autonomously. It's like, look, I want to give you direction. I want you to go. And I want to get these things done on a certain timeline.
Sure.
And that's when they said, oh, well, I like working like that. I'm a bit of a workaholic. I'm going to work and get everything done. And I could see how that's a red flag. So I listened to all the comments up there, and the consensus was overwhelmingly
hire somebody with the skills. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I talk about my gut instinct all the time. So, and I went against the consensus. I hired number 2 today.
Got it.
We'll have to see how it works. Cause I
of course.
Yeah. And I'll keep it, I'll keep everyone posted here because I made that choice because I just think I need somebody that's more administratively strong than creatively strong. And I'm hoping that person keeps me on task more.
My only hesitation is that there are tricks, skills, whatever you want to call them, to the social media game. And if somebody doesn't have that, that might be a pretty big hill for them to climb.
Yeah. And one of the great things I love, like working with this agency, Pavago, is I'm paying a subscription. And anytime I want to swap this person out, if it doesn't work out, I can do it. Now, the question I have is, how do I keep number 2? Ideally, I'd hire them both. I'd hire this organized person to be, I love this term that's thrown around a lot, my chief of staff. That's the,
sure.
I love seeing that out there. So then the creative person down below, but I can't do that right now. It's too much for me.
It's too much.
Yeah. So I'm going to reach out to this prospect number 2 and hey, look, that I'm going to go with this route.
What hours are they going to, like, where are they located?
Pakistan. They work my hours.
I was going to say, well, they work
Pretty
your
much.
hours. Yeah. Okay.
For the stuff that we need to. I'm flexible. Like if you're just organizing and building things, it's okay with me. You don't have to be doing it, when I'm there. But
I'm curious how this works out because I've done a lot of this.
Yeah. I've done a few
and
times
I have
too.
found for contract type work, the offshore stuff has been great, right?
Yeah.
When hiring full time, there's a reason I use LinkedIn to hire Sadie because
that's right.
we had people like her with a different business that I have that we had used a service like you're discussing here, and it was a freaking nightmare managing these people.
I think it can be.
So and we'd had a couple of them, and it was like, all right. So when it came time to hire Sadie, it was like, well, I'm going with LinkedIn Jobs. Yeah, I want to hire somebody that's here in the United States, that understands how to communicate because they're going to be doing communication on your behalf, and so that's living in the culture. I have found it's a really. I mean, I'm curious to see how this goes.
Me too. That's why I'm bringing it up because I love building in public, and we'll see how it turns out, whether I made the right choice or not.
Mm-hmm.
But if I've had it work out really well, but in the past, and I've had it be disastrous from a standpoint of it is tougher to get the someone who's not in the here in our culture, get them to understand the business processes and the whys behind it. They're often phenomenal at the tactics,
whatever the skill is. Yes,
the tactic, getting that done. But from a strategy point, no. So I'm hoping. I haven't hired anybody like this in probably about 10 years. So I'm hoping that it's different. And this person is very highly educated and super intelligent. So we'll just have to see whether. Because like I said, I have no problem creating the content. That's what I do all day. I'm writing, I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, but every platform needs a different voice. Every platform, it's the nuance. Yeah, it's exactly.
Nuance. Yeah. And I'm optimistic that it's going to work. We're going to have to see. I'm going to report back.
I mean, you're probably right. It's probably fine.
It's an experiment.
Yeah.
And it's a 90-day probationary period as we work things out. And then I put, certain KPIs in there, try to build. The number one thing is if in the next 90 days, I'm able to get this newsletter launched, templated out, take my existing content and repurpose it for the newsletter and continue to build that out. That'll help me with
that's success.
I'm building a funnel to bring people to me that value my experience for my coaching business. So I mean that's what we're ultimately trying to do, but I want to do it in a warm way. I don't want to go out and cold, the thought of trying to build clients that way is good. So if you've had experience using people like this, feedback@businessbrain.show, share it with us so we can share it with everybody here and help each other build.
Yep. Like he said, feedback@businessbrain.show. And let us know. We like to hear from you. We've got some feedback coming in on the Friday episode, so we'll discuss that. We'll use it to tune our business brains. Until then, keep living that charmed life, and we'll see you on Friday. Great.
Awesome.
Now we're between the episodes.
So Dave's going to fiddle the knobs and push a few buttons and get that episode ready for me to get finished up as we post. So we post the first episode goes live. We're recording actually early. Normally we record on Tuesdays, but
right. I had a schedule
stuff going
thing.
on. Yeah, we had schedules. So that's the beauty of the podcast is pre-recording and being able to do it that fits our needs, but we release it the same time, the same days every week. The first episode comes out on, I'm like, when? Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then the second episode, which we're going to record in a few minutes, comes out on Fridays. That's our casual Friday episodes. And we break them up into smaller chunks because the engagement's much higher. We used to do an hour show, but now we break these up into 2 shows, 20 to 30 minutes a week. And it's great. I love it. And next week we have a guest, which I'm excited to bring on.
We do?
Nice. Yeah, we do. Tyler Purcell, who's a, let me discard this. Let me make sure I'm describing him right. Yeah, he is a wealth advisor, but he also owns a string of laundromats.
Oh,
it's very fascinating. Okay. Yeah, and they're working on franchising, and he's got some great stories, and I work with him on X frequently. But he's a great guy. So I'm interested in learning about both aspects of this business. So make sure you stick around for that one next week.
All right. Well, I'm almost there.
Great. Awesome. My Kia truck post is going crazy. Yes, crazy. Kia, no thanks. I love Kia. Everybody has one thing they agree with Kia is they don't like the giant KIA letters in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big.
That's the issue.
That's the number one thing. I wouldn't buy it with those big letters on the front. And I'm like, you mean like Toyota and Ford,
like every other
Dodge?
Freaking? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's an interesting.
I drive a Subaru now. God, we love those stupid things. But for a little while, I drove a BMW. Actually, I drove 2 of them for a little while.
The SUV or car?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I drove an X3 for a little bit, and then, I drove an X5 for a little bit until they remade the X3 to be more. The X3 was a weird thing when it first came out, and then they made it more like the X5. So I went from an X5 to an X3, and then from there I went to where did I go next? I don't know, whatever. But I think I went to my Subaru from there, but. I did not, there's stigma associated with everything. And it was like, I really like the way this car drives, but I wish I could take the BMW logo off the front.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. There's stigma with every vehicle you drive. People make assumptions about it. I got to say the worst has got to be that Cybertruck now. And I love Tesla.
Currently,
I love
that's
it.
right.
But every time people see it, they're like, what? Who's driving that thing?
Yeah.
It looks so bizarre. It looks like something for some military surplus auction.
It does. It does. Yeah, it looks, I don't know.
It's classic. You're making a statement when you're driving down the road in that thing, which is probably, maybe that's the whole idea.
Maybe that's the point. Yeah,
maybe that's the
right.
point. Yeah, maybe that's the point.
Yep. All right.
Awesome. So we have this show. We're doing your intro and the topic power of presumed failure. I'm ready whenever you are.
Same. I just want to make sure that I have the notes up. Right.
Great.
Okay. Great. Here Goes nothing. Business Brain, episode 550 for Casual Friday, May 17th, National Bike to Work Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take an idea or three, we crunch it, we dissect it, we analyze it, we use it to tune our business brains every single episode. This episode is sponsored by LinkedIn Jobs, where you can go post your first job for free. If you go to linkedin.com/businessbrain, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And in Lafayette, California, I'm Shannon Jean. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hey, we got a note into feedback at businessbrain.show from Sam, who says, over the years, I have found myself having negative reactions when I get emails from people with certain phrases in them, including, do we want to? I'm just following up. I just wanted to check in. I hope you're doing well. As such, I have learned to avoid using them, but I'm curious what you guys think, and are there other phrases I should add to my list to avoid?
That's good.
This is good. The whole soft approach, it seems like a good idea when you're the one writing the email. It's like, oh, I want to be conversational. I want to but when I'm reading it, it's like, I hope you're doing well. It's like, okay.
No, you don't.
I mean,
you don't know me.
That might be true sometimes, but
sometimes
if it's like, I hope you're doing well, I wanted to check in, right? Like put two of them together. I wanted to check in on that order I sent you. I saw a thing that what that does is it communicates a version of desperation. Right? That I wanted to check in. I'm just following up.
That's a bad way to say it. Yeah.
Yep. I was thinking about you, sometimes implying like I had a minute in the day and I realized I hadn't heard back from you on this, implying that like I've got a lot going on. I'm productive and I had a break and I thought about you and I'm wondering where you are on this thing, that kind of thing.
Yeah. The whole hope you're doing well, and I just wanted to follow. Those are, I don't like them either. And, Google, if you use Gmail, they have a whole raft of pre-selected ones, and I'm like, avoid.
Yes.
Because I've had somebody call me out. Did you just select this from the? No, I really did not. So
I typed it. Yeah.
I like this. If you really want to check in with somebody, I like to say, hey, I hope things are terrific.
Oh, there you go.
And just different language, and I like that word terrific a lot. But
I've learned to just cut to the chase. Like, hey, checking in on this order. Where are we with that?
That's really what you're doing a service to everyone when you're in a friendly manner. You just do it. You just jump right into the topic.
Yes.
And
friendly manner. Right. Yeah. I'm not. I'm not yelling at them like all caps. Like. Why are you an idiot and you haven't replied? Like, no, that's not.
Well, email especially is the worst to try to have asynchronous conversations back and forth, right?
Yeah.
You got to get, if you're doing it all the time with a certain party, you got to get into another app or something to be able to, if you can, communicate. But like Slack
I found more and more email communication has become like text message communication. Very, very brief.
Boom.
And it's efficient. That's it.
It is efficient.
Hey, where is this? Great. Thanks.
Yes. I agree. And not having to follow up with thanks,
thanks.
Because that's the worst. You have to wait.
The one line.
At least now you get a preview of it so you can go delete, and go through it. But I like the phrases to avoid. I think that's good. It's just avoid any phrase that everybody's, they have a nice days, right? Come on. I like when you go into places, I don't mind like welcome in if you walk in someplace.
Oh, sure.
Say, hey, welcome in. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's a little different.
Yeah, something. You saying hello. That's fine.
Yeah,
we're humans.
Nice.
Yeah. But email, you're already like, you're probably already saying, hey, Shannon. You know, like starting out with it. Sometimes if it's an exchange that we're having quickly back and forth, I'll skip all the pleasantries and be like, yeah, I got that. I'm doing the thing. Great. Okay, thanks. Bye. There you go.
Yeah. I love these companies that allow you to chat with them instead of email back and forth, where you can just go right into your messages app, like on my phone.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that because I'm in there all day anyway. And if I can have that conversation where I can see the threaded nature of it over time, that's a winner for me, man. That gets my business. So,
all right, folks. Hiring the right team is like finding the last puzzle piece for your business. It just clicks. And guess where I found our social media wizard, Sadie? That's right, on our sponsor, LinkedIn Jobs. She's been with us for over 3 years, turning posts into gold and tweets into treasures and helping us to promote and grow the show. Now, you might think LinkedIn is just another job board, but let me tell you, it's the secret clubhouse where the best talents hang out. It's not just about who's looking. It's about who's perfect for your team, even those not actively hunting for a job. Over 70% of LinkedIn users aren't scouring other job sites. So if you're not searching there, you're basically playing hide and seek with a blindfold on. And the magic doesn't stop there. Did you know 86% of small businesses snag a qualified candidate within 24 hours on LinkedIn? That's faster than I can find my car keys most of the time. LinkedIn knows you're juggling a million tasks, so they've made it super easy. They even help craft your job description. It's like having your very own HR assistant who's also a mind reader. That's pretty cool. So if you're looking to grow your team with top-tier talent and maybe find your own Sadie who will skyrocket your social media game, head over to LinkedIn Jobs. Join the 2.5 million small businesses who trust LinkedIn to find not just any professional, but the right one. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/businessbrain. That's linkedin.com/businessbrain to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply, and our thanks to LinkedIn Jobs for sponsoring this episode. All right, so last week I did another down and back to New York City.
Okay.
I was going to go for this event called PepCom, which is like a media event where I get to meet with I don't know, this one's the smaller of the ones that I generally go to. It was like 20 or 30 companies. They all have tables, and it's like a 3-hour
products?
event. It's like new products that I'll see. Right, I'll see new robot vacuums and things like
That's
that.
awesome.
Right? It's a great way. It's like speed dating with the press. So I was planning on going for this. I was going to go down. It's a Thursday night thing. I was going to take the train down on Thursday morning, and then the train back on Thursday night. So like an all day kind of thing. But it's worth it to me. And I had scheduled it so that I could meet with a sponsor whose offices are in New York. And it was great. No problem. Yeah. On Monday, I sent the sponsor a note hey, just confirming, essentially.
Did you say, I hope you're doing well?
No. I said, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Thursday.
There you go.
Because it was true.
Yes, perfect.
Yes,
perfect.
Right. And they wrote me back, and they're like, oh, my gosh, schedule problem. We're supposed to be at the IAB, Internet Advertising Bureau's podcast Upfronts all day Thursday in New York. Will you be at that? If so, we could meet. And I'm like, crap. I've never gone to the Upfronts. The Upfronts are a thing that happens in the advertising business where brands, sponsors come, and the people who would be spending money,
right.
Sponsors or ad agencies or whatever, they all come, they're invited, and then the brands pay to put on a little dog and pony show for the sponsors, telling them about the new shows that they have coming up later in the year, right? Trying to wet people's whistles. And it makes a lot of sense in TV for sure.
Yeah,
because you've
sure.
got seasonal things and scheduled things. It makes sense in radio. I'm still not sure it makes sense for podcasting.
Who's pitching it? The podcast agencies or individual podcasts?
It would be we could pay to pitch this show
Backbeats.
there,
Oh,
for
I
example.
See. Oh, yeah. Okay,
we could, or Backbeat could. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
NPR pays to pitch or whatever.
Makes sense.
And so it was I don't want to go to this thing, but okay, let me look. Because I'm not the type of person that they prioritize having there in the seats, right?
Okay.
They want buyers in the seats. And we certainly do some media buying here at Backbeat. There's the shows we represent, and then we'll buy media for the sponsors we work with on shows that we don't represent. And so like, it's there, but I've never been invited. And so I was like, well, let me see if I can get a ticket. That's first of all. And I kind of assumed that I couldn't. But I went on the website and I signed up and I got a ticket. And I was like, dang it. And I'm like sitting there on the couch, grumbling and like swearing and, saying the F word a lot. And Lisa's like, what's going on? I'm like, I gotta go to New York. She's like, yeah, but I'm like, no, I got to go Wednesday night and stay over and then go to the thing all day and then go to PepCom and come home. And she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, but I get to meet with this company and potentially several others and like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I get over myself and I changed my train ticket. I booked the hotel room, all good. So I'm taking the train in on Wednesday afternoon and I get an email. Your application for a pass for tomorrow has been rejected.
What?
Yeah. And I went and looked back at my original email and it was like, you are confirmed. This is one ticket for the... It wasn't, we will review this.
Yeah.
Now, if they had told me on Monday, we will review this, I wouldn't have bought a train ticket. I wouldn't have bought a hotel room. Right.
Yeah.
But it was like, what the F? And so I'm literally on the train, like while this is happening, because the train has Wi-Fi and I'm like doing some stuff because I'm getting work done. And so I replied to them and I was like, hey, like, I get it that you might decide I'm not the person you want to be there, but today's the wrong day.
Yeah,
like I've already laid out
en route.
Money.
Yeah.
I'm en route. I've laid out money based on your confirmation. I went back and looked at the confirmation email. Like, did I misread this? Because I could have. I was moving quickly and I was like, didn't expect it to work. So when I saw something positive, I was like, dang it. Like, I got to go now. And so I never heard back from him, right? Like business day ended. I went out. I had dinner with a friend in New York, checked into my hotel. And so I woke up the next morning and I'm like, well, how's this going to go? And I walked the 6 blocks from where I had a hotel to this event.
Okay.
I'm like, as I'm walking there, I'm like, I am assuming that they are not going to let me in. And I was like, wow, that's really powerful here because I'm walking in with the power of presumed failure. Like I'm expecting to arrive and have them turn me away. So like I have my story to tell,
yes.
right? I'm practicing my delivery of like, okay, wait a minute. I'd heard someone had used a generalization to describe New Yorkers in general, right? And all generalizations are wrong, but they also have some truth in them.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And what they said was, and they were contrasting to other cities. I won't share the other cities, but they were saying New Yorkers are not polite, but they are kind. And I've spent a lot of time in New York. I grew up near New York, and it's like, that's true that people aren't going to waste a lot of time with pleasantries. But if you're somewhere in the city and like you are in a scenario where you need help, someone will help you. Like they might not even say a word to you, but they will help you and then go on their way, right? Like this.
Right.
And in general, again, these are generalizations. And so I was like, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to be dealing with a New Yorker. Like the person who they have staffing the desk is from New York, right? They either work for the IAB in New York or they're someone that they've hired for this event today.
So I'm like, okay, be direct and fast.
I'm going to be direct, kind.
Kind.
I'm not, but kind. Like I could go in and like, raise the roof and be like, oh my, you screwed me and F you and all this stuff.
That's
and I was
bad.
like, but A, that's probably not going to get me what I want. And B, I'm going to be doing this in front of other people, many of whom know me by sight. So do I want to be the one that's caught having a tantrum? No.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yes.
Right. So I'm like, okay, so I have this thing that the whole way through, I'm like, I'm probably going to just go back to my hotel and get some work done during the day and then head off to PepCom in the afternoon. That's the worst thing. Right. And so I kind of come to this realization and I was like, oh, now I'm super comfortable walking into this scenario. And I walked in and I go to check in and they're like, they look you up. You need to go talk to them over there. They'll hand you your badge. I'm like, okay, sounds great. So I go and I talk to them at the other thing and they're like, you need to talk to the person at the very end of the table, like, escalating me up. And I, of course, know why, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you hadn't said anything yet about the conflicting messages. Yeah.
Right. I just figured I'd walk in and say, I'm Dave Hamilton. And I, if you want to see my email approval, I have that ready to go on my phone because obviously. Yeah. And so finally there's somebody else in front of me having some similar issue or whatever. And they finally get to me. I'm like, hey, I'm Dave Hamilton. And she says, yeah, I see you have a registration here that was canceled. And I'm like, yeah, I got a weird email about that yesterday. It didn't really make sense. I'm like, I got my confirmation ticket. I can show it to you on Monday. And that's when I bought a train ticket and a hotel. And I was direct about it, made sure they understood the order of events. And all of this was true. I didn't mention that I was going to New York anyway to PepCom, but I did pay extra for the train ticket the day before. And of course, I got a hotel room. Of course, that was on Marriott points, but again,
That's irrelevant.
The points were spent. It was a done deal. Yep. So I delivered the story in a way that was most optimal for my desired outcome, but I wasn't necessarily expecting them to bend any rules for me. And the woman's like, yeah, you put your title as publisher and podcaster because that's just what I put anytime anybody asked me for my title. And she was like, that's the problem here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you want to change my title? She's like, no, I don't care. She's like, I'm just going to approve your ticket. You're here. She's like, like they did, like, she'd cancel
That's the right
you.
thing to do. That is the right thing to do, boy.
And I was nice to her. I was kind to her, but I was direct. I never said, I think I said, I'm hoping you can help me. Those kinds of things. Offering a little bit of vulnerability, because she's the one in power. It's not me. But I wasn't groveling or anything, and I wasn't I wasn't pouring on all the extra niceties, but I was being kind.
Was the meeting,
it worked fine.
Was the meeting you were having important enough to where if you couldn't get in, that would have been a problem?
It turns out, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I did not know. I thought this was just to say hi. I always say that conferences, whatever they are good for reminding one another that we're human. There's a new person on this particular account at this one company, and I'd never met them before. They haven't done any business with us in a couple of years. There's been they used to do a ton of business with us 5+ years ago. And we got lost in the institutional memory as people moved out of their jobs. And when I finally met with this person, they were like, oh, this is great timing. Oh my gosh, we definitely need to be working with you. We are currently planning all of the second half of the year in these next 2 weeks. Nice. So this is perfect timing. And it was like, oh, I had no idea how important this meeting was.
Yeah. It's interesting because, this power of presumed failure, it's kind of the opposite of the way I always preach about thinking oh, you'll get in. You just have to think that I've got it. You know, so it's an interesting take on it.
And I did that too.
Yeah.
Right? It was both of those things. I acted like
you're confident enough to
correct.
You're walking in, you're being friendly, your confidence well, I should be here. I'm in the industry. I'm not trying to, BS my way into something, right?
Based on the title that I put in there, I should not have been allowed in.
I see. Yeah.
Based on everything we do here, yes, I should have been allowed in. But they didn't know, all they have to go on is what I told them in advance, which was enough to bounce me. And of course, now I know how not to present myself again in the future. But no, they did it. And the woman realized, okay, well, we can't bounce this guy while he's on a train down here like that. That's kind of that's not the best move. No,
that's
she didn't even flinch. She's like, "No, I'm just going to print you a thing."
Yeah, that's great. That's the right answer. That was good that she handled it that way because we'd be having a different discussion. It
would be similar discussion. I mean, it was the same story coming in. I acted. You're right. I acted confident. I acted like everything was going to work out in the way I wanted it to. But in my head, I assumed it would not, and that really allowed me to go into this very calmly because there was never what it prevented me from ever doing was getting to a desperation moment. If she had said no, I would have pushed a little bit.
Yeah.
And then if she had said no again, and I kind of did push a little bit. She's like, well, it was canceled. And that's when I bought the tickets, yada. Yeah. And then that was all it took. But if she pushed back again, I would have been like, okay, thanks. And I would have pieced out. I would have texted the person I was going to meet with and said, can we meet across the street at a coffee shop? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and I would have solved the problem a different way. But that presumed failure allowed me not to get desperate, which I think is actually what helped me get in.
Yeah, I like it. And had you not gotten in, we could have had this could have been a show about customer service disasters and how not to handle, this kind of thing when you issue a confirmation, and then later you go back a day later when someone has, they're on their way to your event, that kind of thing. So it's interesting. I mean, and we've done a couple episodes about the power of going to these conferences and trade events and everything. If you go up to businessbrain.show and just search for probably conference or trade show, something like that, I think they're very powerful, especially this day where so many of us are working remotely and not connecting. If you get an opportunity to go and meet with people and, put a face behind the people that you're talking to each day, it's really powerful and it makes you stand out. It's the same thing with when you have employees, people that work from home. You want to try to make your presence known occasionally. That's one of the problems, I think, with the work from home is you get overlooked because out of sight, out of mind. And I think it's the same thing with the vendor, suppliers, or client relationship. If you get a chance to talk and grab a cup of coffee or just face-to-face, it's awesome.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I did wind up kind of running into other people, so it wound up being a great day. But even like that one meeting was, I mean, if it was 5 minutes, I don't like it. That's all it needed to be. I always say, and I think I even said this to the person I was meeting with, I'm like, email's great for sending data back and forth. It's great for numbers and details and all that. But we don't get to do this. And so let's just do this. And I'll tell you about our shows and, like all of that, because I can read the responses like as in real time. Be like, oh, this is great. And they were like, wait, we've been on your shows before. I was like, yeah. Like, wait, that could be, we could tie that in. I actually told them about how they were like, I know our creative gets a little stale sometimes. So we're really encouraging hosts to do that. I'm like, well, here at Backbeat, we can do that for you. I said, for my shows, I've even started using ChatGPT to take the creative and reword it for me so that it's not stale. And he was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I was like, all right, great. Now I've made an impression. That's all I needed.
Yeah, that's
great. Which I can do in 3 to 5 minutes. An hour is too long sometimes.
Oh,
it's awkward.
Yeah, no.
It's
too
awkward.
Long. But just a brief thing, smile, get, this kind of stuff, share some anecdote like you're talking about like that can make a huge impression on people. That's cool. I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, me too. And if you didn't know, I do use ChatGPT to write the ad scripts, including the one that you heard in this show. I take all the stuff that we get from the sponsor, I plug it in, and I say, write me a, whatever 60-second ad script, make it funny, use our catchphrase, talk about the charmed life. And what's great, I will read it cold. Most 80% of the time, what you hear on the show is me for the first time reading what ChatGPT, because then you get my reactions to it. And sometimes it's like, what is that? And I'll even say it. Like, I don't know that it's happened on this show, but I'll say, well, that's a weird thing for ChatGPT to make me say. And then I just keep going, but it makes it engaging. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insistent for all of us. And we haven't done an AI show in a while. Maybe we should dip back into it and talk about the tools and the way we use it. Yeah. I use it every day. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
But make sure you like I said, these shows will be out Wednesday and Friday, and then join us next week where we have Tyler Purcell coming on to talk about his chain of laundromats as well as his financial planning business, which is going to be great.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. My guess is there's going to be threads that connect it all.
I think so. Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. Have a great weekend. Keep living that charmed life. We'll see you next week. Boom. There we go.
Awesome. So, we never did get anybody showing up on the I don't think this is picking up those
It's not
viewers on YouTube and on Facebook. And
the YouTube ones, with Mac Geek Gab, we definitely see the YouTube numbers and they match.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So
okay. Yeah. Interesting. Well,
I mean, we don't schedule this in advance. We could.
That's right.
Right.
Well, we should start doing that on the days we know we're going to be here.
We know we're going to record. I can schedule it, and then there'll be a YouTube event that will show up for people who are subscribed to us and that sort of thing. So I can start doing that. Yeah.
I think it's great. I'd also like to learn what the difference is between live streaming this versus doing a Spaces on X, and whether we can combine those things together to reach a broader audience that would see us in the although I do see us in the live on X box up on the side and so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. We're going to get these out, and we'll see you guys next week.